who is at risk for these type of things? Women of all ages is who is at risk for domestic violence and sexual violence, and those 20 to 24 are at the greatest risk of experiencing non-fatal intimate partner violence. So, pretty much your college years. We get to college maybe 18, 19 years old, but your later college years going into early adult life, women are experiencing the most non-fatal intimate partner violence. So that goes back to that stat of 2 million injuries a year. This is happening in college, ladies. This isn't the Lifetime movie where they're married, only the married people that married the really rich, arrogant bastards. These are guys that you see every day. Females were 84% of spousal abuse victims and 86% of abuse victims at the hand of their boyfriend. So out of spousal abuse victims in general, 84% of them were women. Out of abuse at the hands of a boyfriend, 86% of them were, or of a dating partner, where 86% of them were women. I can't express to you enough how sad this gets, but an excuse you'll hear a lot from these women is, well, I'm going to get pregnant because a baby's definitely going to change his mind. He's not going to be crazy like this around a baby. And he'll just stop. He'll get better. It's a baby. Once he sees that baby, it'll be his pride and joy. It'll all change. Well, sadly enough, as many as 324,000 women each year experience intimate partner violence during their pregnancy. So not only are these men laying their hands on these women, threatening these women, sexually abusing these women, they're doing it while they have their own child in the woman's stomach. 30% to 60% of all perpetrators of intimate violence also abuse the children in the household. So not only are they beating the women, they're beating the women while they're pregnant. When the kid gets there, the kid starts screaming and crying, and gets pissed off. He hits the kid too. So now we're talking, if you're going back and then Jenny is your daughter, he's beating your grandkids. On average, more than 3 women are murdered by their husbands and boyfriends in this country every day. So every 24 hours, around 3 women have gone down Jenny's path. They've fallen into this trap that I like to call it. They've ignored help. They've given their excuses. And they've fallen all the way down and been murdered by their boyfriend or husband. The big thing that you need to recognize when you look at this is why the man is how he is, and excuses for the guy for why it's okay to go back to him. The only cause that has been given factual is boys who witness domestic violence are twice as likely to abuse their own partners and children when they become adults. This is a proven fact. It's not an excuse in any way, shape, or form, because this is something that can be bounced back from. The excuses are enough to make you sick. These are the general excuses that I've heard from my 2 friends that I'll tell you the story of in here just a little while, and that are pretty much, when I wrote these up, I wrote them shorthand by myself, and I looked up some stats, and I found a list of excuses that match this one almost identically. So these are not just in certain situations. These are just excuses you hear in general. Number 1, he was drunk. He didn't mean it to, that usually go hand in hand. This was the first time in a long time. It was kind of my fault. I did whatever it is. He feels terrible. I made him promise to go get some help. And this next one's my personal favorite, because I've heard it firsthand. He's been taking real good care of my injuries. Okay, so Jenny, I told you the story of Jenny. It kind of generalizes most females in this situation. Well, Jenny wasn't just some fictional story I used to grab your attention. I didn't just write that up. Jenny is based off of millions of women around the country, but mostly I based her situation around 2 of my friends. One of them was very closely based on, Jenny was based off of her. She's a student here on campus. I'm not gonna give her name out. I'm gonna still call her Jenny. I'm still gonna call the guy Tom. Jenny had the exact situation, minus the death. She's still trapped, and I pretty much, as we speak, I'm still fighting to save her. Since I've known her, he's beaten her on 3 occasions that she's told me of. There was a situation where he had thrown her into a car, just into the car as they were getting out of the car. There was a situation where she went through Jenny's situation. She got convinced to go out. She felt bad, called him. He took her home and beat her head into the wall until she got a concussion, missed weeks of cheerleading. And then this last one, I actually got involved myself. She called me at 3:45 in the morning to let me know that she had come home drunk, thrown her onto the ground, sat up on her chest as if he was a UFC fighter, and elbowed her in the face. I drove at 3:45 in the morning to find my friend with a giant bruise on this side of the head that I know from doing martial arts was a definite dragged elbow across the face. She's still trapped, but I personally believe that we're going to get her out of that situation. Sad story is the last time that I went through this, it was in Dayton. I was friends with this girl for a couple of weeks before I realized that she was in this trap. Then I started to really realize that the hole was getting deeper. She wasn't allowed to do anything after our choir class. She had to leave right after school. She was allowed to go to work, go to school, come home. She was losing privileges that he gave her. She was paying for his rent. Now she is nowhere to be found. I was given a text message saying that he had taken her phone, so not to text that phone anymore. He had disconnected it shortly after. Her parents don't know where she is because he made her move out of her parents' house, and she doesn't have a phone. She had to drop out of school. She no longer goes to school, and as far as I know, she could be dead. I'm hoping for the best that she's not, but this situation, the main point of telling you these 2 stories is that this situation is happening all the time. Within two years, I've experienced 2 situations about this, dealing with this. I feel in her situation I potentially failed her because I was not able to help her. Ladies, my main point to you today is that there is nobody worth it. Think about your family, think about your education, your career, and having a piece of the American dream. The point that needs to be made is that there is absolutely no one out there worth giving up your family, giving up 4 years of education and learning all that you can learn about what it is you love to do. There's no one out there worth of giving up a career, doing what you love and getting paid for it. And as little as it happens, the American dream is something to strive for, and it's not something that should be just thrown away because you are in love with your boyfriend. So what can we do? First things first, you never want to confront the abuser. That will just simply make things worse. He will probably beat her 10 times as hard, and death may come even faster with that situation.